Hello and good evening for this Thursday, July 25th, 2024. Week one in the Big Brother 26 house is over. But we're just getting started here on Super Mario Brothers podcasting for our coverage of this this monumental occasion here in this Big Brother USA game. I'm Dave Mader, joined with my brother Jeff Mader here on Super Mario Brothers, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. You might be listening on the audio version. We're coming to you with a new format this season, once a week, and mostly it's going to be on evictions. Jamil and Robinson and I, we talked about the premiere episodes. We talked about the cast. Jeff wasn't there for that, so this is the first time really Jeff and I are talking much about this season and this cast, and we're going to be talking about spoilers. If you haven't seen the episode, I guess it'd be episode 5. Matt gets evicted here in an 8-3 vote on an Angela HOH week. After Chemo saves himself in this episode with the AI competition, and it ends up being Matt versus Kenny in the final 2. Kenny wants to be evicted, Matt doesn't, so of course the house votes out Matt and keeps Kenny, as you would do. Jeff, I gotta tell you, this season I think is turning out pretty well so far. But let me know your thoughts. How are the Big Brother 26 cast doing for you so far?
Yeah, I think the cast is very good this season. There's a lot of kind of rootable people you like to laugh, good personalities. No one's really boring. There's maybe one person that's boring, but that's pretty good. I mean, I think they did well this season.
And they don't like each other. That's my favorite part.
Well, and that's what makes a good show. When they're all having fun and everyone likes each other, it's just kind of I don't know. I bet you the viewership's down. Hate sells.
Yeah, well, I think, and what we mean is we want some conflict, we want some drama, we want some interesting stuff, not just sort of we're just going to go with the flow. And, whoever is sort of the alpha is going to get their way until we get to the final 2, many weeks from now. I'm not feeling we're going to get that kind of a vibe this season. Angela ends up being the first HOH. Didn't know how good this was going to be when it happened. When I heard about it, I was like, okay, well, she's the oldest, one of the oldest in the house. I think Kenny's a little older than her. And, the older contestants, they tend to start from an underdog position. And so having week 1 power could be good. I guess we can, talk about Angela's game if you want to call it that, but I don't know if this is going to end up being net positive for her in the long term. Kept her safe this week, but
okay, here's my take on Angela. As a TV character, she's gold.
Jerry.
Gold. But as if I was a player in the house, I don't think I could stand her. I would want to evict her tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I don't think I could take it. The constant mood swings, the lashing out, the blowing up of alliances, the
paranoia,
the bullying that she's doing, and to multiple people. It's just I couldn't take it. If I was in that house, I'd want to get rid of her immediately.
Yeah.
But as a TV character, she's the best possible villain I think if you could ever think of,
But I think her instability is my prediction for her is this: as soon as she's facing the heat, if she gets put on the block or she's not in control, I could even see herself evicting. The anxiety of that will be so overwhelming to her that she won't know what to do.
Perhaps she's going to go one of two ways, I would say, Dave.
Ew.
And we've seen it from her in the episodes. She's either going to go the puppy dog, I'm sad, I didn't mean to, or why are you doing this to me? Or if she's going to go full bore crazy lady. And I'm here I'm excited.
I'm here for either.
Yeah.
I guess the worst case scenario is she just walks into the diary room and says, "I can't take it anymore," which we've seen from other contestants.
But why? I don't think. All right, I think you're way off on that. I don't think she's gonna self-evict. I don't think.
Before we keep going with that, let's welcome Josh Foster to the podcast. First time this season, of course, talking about Big Brother 26. Josh, glad to have you with us.
Thanks for having me, Dave. And actually, I thought it was. I didn't realize you were on this one tonight, there, bud.
Well, hey, I'm glad you. Yes, I initially I don't think I told either of you this that I was going to be here, but I managed to move my Star Trek Prodigy podcast to last night. So I could be here. I cleared my schedule, guys. Aren't you fortunate?
Oh, Dave. The little things. Well, good to see you.
Good to see you too. I was Jamil and I talked about the first 2 episodes a week ago, a rare Friday morning podcast we did. But I haven't really talked to either of you about this season so far. And Josh, we see here Matt get evicted tonight on Angela's HOH. Please tell me you saw last night's episode. Please tell me you saw last night's episode.
No, I'm sorry, Dave.
Oh,
it's been I've been dealing with a lot. Like, it's been kind of a mess lately. We'll talk off. We'll see. We'll talk and get together soon. But it's been really hectic. But tonight I triple booked myself, and I caught the end of the eviction. But I honestly, Let me give you I'm going to give you the quick Coles notes of what I saw, and then you tell me if I'm on the right track.
Okay.
So so it seemed to me like that the older lady, I don't know her name, she won
Angela.
HOH. Angela. She won HOH.
Correct.
And with that old school mentality, first of all, I wanted to know real quick, what was the HOH competition last week?
It was like a shuffleboard competition where, so they all had to split into teams of 3. Just quickly, they're like, okay, everyone find 2 partners right now. That meant that 2 people would not have a team and they would just get eliminated from the competition. That ended up being Tucker and Mackenzie, I want to say.
Yeah.
And so eventually, the teams of 3, basically, they all had to play shuffleboard on this big digital screen. And so Angela's team did pretty well, and eventually she had to face off against her teammates, who I think Cam was one of them, maybe, if I'm remembering that correctly. But or no, I can't remember. Anyway, she ends up winning the digital shuffleboard and becoming the first HOH. So that was that.
So she won, and it basically seemed to me was I'm not gonna go for the older, I'm not gonna go with the older or the younger crowd. And she's like, I'm gonna vote in somebody that looks physically strong. It looked like there was a showmance already between Matt and what's her name? They showed her at the end. There was a trio of them I saw who were kind of standing, I guess, alone.
Yes. So Matt's alliance, if you want, included Mackenzie, which is kind of his pseudo showmance. It really hadn't progressed to a full blown showmance, but it was definitely headed that way. And then the other one you're referring to, it would be sorry, what's her name? The one that's in that 3-way alliance. Is it not Chelsea? No, it's Jeff, help me out here. What's her name?
What alliance?
The alliance that Matt and Mackenzie were in with the third girl.
Oh, Leah.
Leah.
The 3-mans or whatever it was called.
The 3-mans or whatever it was. Yeah. So those 3 were kind of a trio, but and agreeing to work together. Effectively, what happens is Matt gets a little paranoid once Angela wins power. He starts shooting his mouth off a little bit to people. Gets a little paranoid. He eventually goes up to talk to Angela, as she's preparing. And he's like, I was so afraid you're going to put me up. And if you do, of course, I'm going to come for you next. And she I don't think she was planning to put up. It was dumb. She wasn't planning to put up Matt originally. He was kind of an option for her, but I don't think he was number 1 on her list.
She said she wanted to go up to Kenny. Yes.
Kenny was in particular, which surprised me a little bit because, you thought that I would think that those 2 would want to stick together just because they're the only 2, they're the oldest people, the 2 people in their 50s, but that turned out not to be the case at all. And so Angela comes away from that conversation with Matt not feeling great about it, but she still doesn't put Matt up. She puts Kenny and Chemo and Lisa up. Lisa, kind of, they call her Tinkerbell, apparently, behind her back.
So they put up a trio every single week this season?
Yes. So the plan this season is that the HOH has to put up 3 people. Even after the veto, if it's used, there are 3 people on the block, and then there's a competition like tonight in the amongst the 3 nominees, where one of them gets to basically save themselves, and eventually, so when they go to vote, there's still only 2 people on the block, so there's kind of like almost 2 vetoes in a sense, you know. Yeah. And so Chemo ends up doing that tonight. He ends up winning this AI competition, which was kind of like, just go look at a bunch of screens and then we're going to ask you a question. Could be anything about what you saw on those screens. Chemo wins that. And so he takes himself off. But Chemo was like probably the safest of these 3 tonight coming into this. He was not probably going to get any votes. If he had been against Matt, Matt would have gone unanimously. If he had gone against Kenny, Kenny would have went unanimously, I think. But Kenny, they're so happy when Chemo won, right? Too, like Jeff, when they came down those stairs tonight, and they're like, "Chemo, this is like," it was like Chemo had won the Super Bowl or something.
Yeah. So I mean, there's already 2 sides of the house forming, right? And you saw it tonight with that reaction.
Yeah. Well, Angela being the first HOH has been kind of fun, I think. Oh, Foster turned his camera. Angela, I want to tell Foster. I need to see him to tell him about this part. With everything with Angela's paranoia.
I'm still here. I'm listening.
Okay, good. But last night, so Angela, like, as HOH, has been sort of notorious for being up in her HOH room, watching all those cameras, getting paranoid about who's talking about her back, behind her back, and who she's gonna go. And she's apparently been doing this like all week, you know, ever since she came into power. So one night she's like sleeping in the house. This was on last night's episode. And she's like tossing and turning in bed, talking to herself about how she didn't like how Matt came at her so aggressively. And so, you know, with his crazy eyes, she doesn't like his crazy eyes, she says. Because sometimes, I don't know, he kind of like, when he was like, "Hey, let's go," or something, you know, he kind of makes some expressions. And she got fixated on that. So then in the morning, she comes down and she starts clapping slowly. And then she kind of I don't know, she went at Matt. Jeff, how would you characterize this rant she did at Matt?
It was an unhinged explosion of paranoia and not sleeping. And it was just like, I don't know, like, it was also very performative. And she's like, I don't know, like, as a TV character, great. Like, I thought it was a really great moment. Like, what was it? Joseph's line was fantastic. He's like, "I think that'll make the episode."
Yeah,
that was great.
That will make the edit.
My man Joseph, Mr. Mustache Handlebars.
Yeah, he's great.
Well, the other part from that, before she goes on this rant against Matt, the night before, like, a few people try to form an alliance and include her in it, including Joseph, your boy Joseph, with the mustache, and what's his name? Quinn, Dr. Quinn, medicine woman. Quinn and Joseph come and say, "Hey, guess what? We're in this new alliance called what was it called, Jeff? The consortium or something? Or the coalition?"
The collective.
We're in this alliance. You're in it. It's got Cam and you and Joseph and Quinn and a few others. And she goes, "That's amazing. That's the best thing I've ever heard." But then she's like, "I pretend to be excited, but I know I'm being lied to. They're all lying to me." They weren't lying at all to her, by the way.
Yeah. And so why did she think they were lying? Like, she had no reason.
She just didn't believe them. She doesn't believe anybody.
She thought they were all like under Matt's thumb or something.
She's like, "Matt's controlling everything. Matt's running this game."
Matt seemed like he didn't seem like he knew where he was. You know,
yeah.
He didn't seem like he knew what was going on. I don't know.
The definition, Foster, of a recruit is Matt.
The way that they, like, once again, I felt like I know I dropped the ball, Dave, with not watching. I apologize. That's on me, right? But here's the thing. From what I saw, like it was very obvious. There was a clique that formed with the three of them, like you said, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And and there was that confrontation in the, or whatever you want to call it, in the HOH room with Angela. And Angela was just looking at Matt, being like, "You're just a big dumb idiot. Like I'm not gonna be threatened by you, and I'm gonna put you up, right? If like when it, not the fat first, but there's the replacement, right? So but with the way that like Matt was like really like he's like really like nervous. He's like really like, I don't know, like scared on the seat there with Kenny. Like he just seemed like, I don't know, like he was, I don't know if you guys noticed that. And then when he's talking to Julie, like it was very what's the word I'm looking for? Like it was almost like robotic in a way.
I think stunned would be the way I would put it. I think he's just
Stunn's a good, yeah, like auto, like I don't know, just seemed like it wasn't like it was, yeah, stunn's a better word to use, because it just seemed like it was just kind of like deer in the headlights almost. He didn't really know what to say, right?
Right. Well, you got to remember, like Angela came at him so hard in this conversation, basically, like because it was this conversation only took place between Matt and Angela. No one else was present. So she's like, "You came at me aggressively. You threatened me." And everyone's like, "Jesus, what the hell did Matt do and say?" And like, so there was a lot of like doubt cast on Matt. She starts going at Mackenzie. Mackenzie, you can do so much better, than this guy, and whatever. First of all, and I explained, like their showmance is still kind of developing, if it ever was. And I don't know. So then like it got really personal. Like she like I don't know who brings up Matt's mother, but Matt's mother, she says your mother should be ashamed of you. And
Dave, this all started, and I don't know if you mentioned it, but it all started when Angela made a comment to Matt that, "Oh, you're definitely going to be in a show, man. So don't even try to like laugh at all."
Oh, right. Yeah, because that I've forgotten about that.
That's how this all started.
The feud with them kind of starts in the bathroom. It
wasn't a feud. It was, well, yeah, it was. Angela just had a psycho thought in her mind and was like, "Oh, he's pretty. He's gonna get a showman's." And then like the way she said it to him was kind of like, why say it like that? Like it was not in a kidding way. It was more like it was kind of aggressive. It was like, so I understand why he reacted the way he did, but at the same time, he has to be smart enough to not make it a big deal. Like
yeah, he got a little on his back heels about it.
Yes.
And it kind of evolved from there, right?
Yes. It was a perfect storm. It was Angela's kind of got like this like a kind of crazy aggressive, I'll say whatever style. And then Matt is like so fresh to the game of Big Brother. He had no idea what he was doing in this house. Yeah, he did not belong there as far as a player playing the game. He had no idea what was going on.
Even in his interview with Julie tonight, she goes, "Well, you did say like if you put me up, I'm coming for you or something." He's like, "I thought that's how the game worked, isn't it? Isn't it?"
Yeah,
and you're like, kind of, but you're not supposed to say it like that to the HOH.
It's a mistake to say that unless you can back it up and win competitions. And he needed to win that competition tonight. Right. He's way too big of a threat. He needed to be smart, and he needed to understand that he was a big threat. And that's why you keep your mouth shut the first 3 weeks. You don't say
lay low.
When you're that,
lay low.
When you're that big of a physical threat, you don't give anyone any reason to go after you.
Yeah,
that's the number one. Like, and he had no self-understanding of how he was viewed in that house. Really,
no. He knew he had his little clique with Mackenzie and Leah. Right. And, I think he was kind of like feeling like he was going to like sort of slide into a power position in a beautiful person alliance. And Angela was like, we're blowing all that up. She was almost like she had a thing for him right from the beginning. He, like to Jeff's point, kind of let her manipulate him and kind of created this conflict. And she took out a big target this first week. So I'm kind of curious to see how Angela's game goes from here. I don't see her pulling this together. It's hard to imagine her.
She is going to be in conflict, Dave, the whole season. That's what I think. It's not going to calm down now. It's going to get worse.
Right.
She is going to get so paranoid. Quinn is going to say something to her, and Quinn, you're the worst. Like that's what's going to happen. I think.
Yeah.
I do not see her just being like to chill. No, I was just mad. It was just Matt was my issue. You know, I don't see that happen.
Well, what did you think about her conversation tonight with Kenny? That was shown in the episode.
Yeah,
where,
exactly. Oh, and
know?
again, super aggressive. Like, oh, you're not here for yourself. You only like, and Quinn said it in the DR too. But like, you only know this guy a week, and then, you know what? Like, I kind of understood where Kenny was coming from. Like, you know, like you verbally like called this guy out. You embarrassed him on national television for what? Like, why?
Right.
Why? You know, like, what did he say that was so aggressive and horrible? You know,
that
I'll
he
come
that
after
if
you
you
next week, like that is what this is about.
yeah,
You
no, I
know?
agree. I think Angela like borderline crossed the line. I think when the other cast look back at this, once they have more information, they're gonna probably feel bad. Like you could almost make a case here, and you feel free to push back against this, but like with Matt being half Filipino, is calling him Crazy Eyes a tad racist?
Yeah, I didn't know he was half Filipino, but I thought it was like everything she was throwing at him was not like racist, or it was just like it was character assassination is what it was.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like really mean for no reason. Didn't need to do that. You know, didn't need to talk about his parents, didn't need to talk about Mackenzie, didn't need to do the things. And even with Kenny tonight, like she was talking about, oh, it's your kids, and she's bringing his family into it. Like when it's like, what are you doing? Like, stop.
She's gonna keep doing this.
Oh, she's gonna be, like I said, Dave, she's gonna be fantastic television, and we're gonna, you know. But I like I said, I would want her on the block and gone next week.
Me too. Me too.
If I was anyone in the house,
there's no way I would ever work with her. Once I saw that,
so if she's not on the block next week, I'll be kind of shocked because I would want her gone so fast. Josh,
in our little draft that we had, right? I had the second pick, which meant I had the second last pick. So I had to choose between Chelsea and Angela for my last pick. And so when Angela won the HOH, I was like, oh man, I didn't really like Chelsea as much as I thought. You know, she was from Cucamonga. That's mostly why I drafted her. And but then she ended up being this kind of boring religious person that I wasn't super into. I was like, oh, well, maybe I should have drafted Angela. Just because, you know, she won the first HOH, you know, I was kind of having those feelings. And then I saw how this week was playing out. And I was like, I think I'm better off with Chelsea. As like, if I actually want someone to win the game, I think Chelsea's probably much higher chance at this point than Angela.
Yeah, Chelsea and Cedric, I think, are people to watch out for as far as like, they seem pretty like, they kind of get the game. They get what's going on.
Yeah.
They're pretty smart. So,
actually, Chelsea and Cedric having to be the mascots this week.
Yeah.
They had no vote. They had to wear those costumes.
Yeah.
They couldn't play in any competitions.
But they played their roles, and like that's big part of Big Brother is like play your role. And like they were the mascot, and they were really good at it. Like they were really funny throughout all the competitions, and they were like they entertained well, and that's kind of the show you're on. You're entertaining.
Cedric the Entertainer.
Cedric the Entertainer. Yeah, that's what he should call himself. Yeah, that'd be great. They should call their his Alliance the Neighborhood. A little plug for a CBS show.
There have been so many like kind of alliances they've already tried to show me in these 3 or I guess 5 episodes now.
Yeah, the barbershop.
The barbershop, and now the collective, and apparently there was going to be some kind of a Mr. Anderson alliance or something like that, but then CBS like, no, that's too Matrix, and Warner Brothers owns that, we can't use that. You know, call it something more generic. Yeah, because they formed it in the have not room. So Josh Foster, that's a lot of like what happened this week in sort of like the summary.
Yeah.
I guess the other thing was Lisa won the veto. What was the veto this week? It was short. It was they had to spell a word. They had to like go and get letters, and then they had to make whoever made the longest word won, and that ended up being Lisa. Jeff, you remember what the word was that she won with?
Oh, it was transform.
Transform. Yeah. Right. So she ends up winning that, and so when she pulls herself down, Matt was now, of course, the target. You know, Angela just happy that she, could finally target Matt. Matt's like, this is so dumb, Angela. I have a chance to save myself in this AI competition, which of course he didn't do. So, but the other thing, I guess, too, with this week was that like Kenny got into this house and I think decided he doesn't really want to be there anymore, but he doesn't want to quit. He just wanted them to vote him out tonight. He was kind of like almost campaigning to be voted out. And of course, that's a surefire way to make sure you don't get voted out.
Yeah, that's how Spencer
right. Why don't you just
15?
Send me home? I can go back to my wife, my kids, go back to Boston, whatever. Why does he just tell people he's an undercover cop? If he thinks that's
okay, yeah. Like honestly, at this point, like I hate the fact I'm a cop. I can't tell people I'm a cop. It's like, oh, why? That makes you smarter? That makes it what? Like, no.
It's okay to tell people you were in the military. That's okay.
Did Cedric do that?
Cedric, I think, has. Kenny definitely has. He said.
I think he works for the CIA. I don't even think he.
Who? Kenny?
Cedric.
Oh, Cedric. He's only 21.
I know.
He's already been in and out of the Marines.
Yeah, and he says he works in intelligence.
He does.
And he says I can't really talk about what I do.
It says, yeah, and he lives in Boise, Idaho.
Yeah,
that's my man. Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, actually, I kind of like Cedric. His diary room sessions have been funny. He's kind of an interesting character. I want to see more out of Cedric this week. And like Jeff's point, he did play this like disadvantage he was dealt with having his game downgraded. He handled it very well.
It was a great spot to be.
Yeah, but it could be a terrible spot. Like if you don't handle it,
like if it was Matt, I got that. Yeah.
What if Angela got that?
Oh, been great.
Great.
I can't believe. Did she vote? Yeah, I think she voted yes, right, for the person to enter the house, right?
Yeah, she was in like the pause. She couldn't be downgraded.
What would have happened had all of the both groups voted Ainsley in to the house?
Like if it was unanimous and both,
yeah, or had been 5, whatever. Like, would it have mattered, or was it just for that competition?
Like, there was no way Ainsley was getting voted into the house. Or the actress who played Ainsley.
But what was what would have happened? Nothing, or
so what happens in your scenario?
Say they vote instead of voting her out of that, to not come into the house, they say, yeah, come into the house. Does that matter?
If she actually got the majority of votes?
Yeah, did that matter?
No.
Or it would have been oh, thanks, but actually I'm AI.
Correct.
That's what would have happened. Okay.
Yeah, but the people who voted yes will get the reward. It was the whole idea was that if you vote yes, you'll get a reward. If you vote no, you get a punishment of sorts, effectively, right? And so I thought that was kind of clever, as a way to kind of, if you're going to unleash this twist, at least make it based on a decision they made, right? That each player chose to make, and so the consequences of their individual decisions led to whatever. And the people who voted yes. Ultimately, that's Mackenzie and Quinn who got the advantages, but nobody knows. But now it seems like probably everybody knows because Mackenzie and Quinn kind of told their respective allies that they have these powers. Mackenzie did. That's the other thing, Jeff, is I wanted to ask you about. Mackenzie won this super veto or whatever.
Yeah.
Or does she have the HOH? I can't remember which one Quinn has and which one Mackenzie has. But
she has the American veto.
And she could have saved. Matt and could have. And also chosen the renoms? Was that also what the power gives her?
No, America chooses the renoms.
Oh, America would choose the renoms. Who would America have chosen if she had vetoed these nominations?
See, that was the problem. If she didn't, that was Angela's best move, was not putting Matt on the block because he was the renom. So actually, Mackenzie couldn't use it. That was the problem.
She wasn't allowed to use it after the veto was played, or she had to use it before the veto.
She had to use it instead of Lisa using it, she would have had to have used it.
And maybe left things the same. Had left Lisa.
Well, no, because then she should have still done it because she should have used it and then used it on Kenny. Okay, and then America would have got to decide who got to go up in Kenny's spot. And if you're Mackenzie, you're gonna hope, please don't pick Matt, right?
And I don't think they would have.
I don't think they would have either. She should have used it because I said this to Amanda. I was like, and Amanda was like, no, you keep it for yourself. I'm like, okay, first of all, you can only use this for 4 votes.
4 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah, both their Quinn and Mackenzie's powers only can be used for the next 4 weeks.
Yeah. Second of all, Matt is definitely going to be an ally for you for the whole game.
Right.
So you want to save him.
Correct.
Now you can also save Kenny, who's going to be an ally to Matt the whole game.
Yep.
Why would you not do that? Why would you go, nah, I'm going to save it for myself? That's stupid.
Yeah, because I think that this is the problem here with Mackenzie's game, was she's like, well, I just met Matt. I do like, of course, like she's like super flirty with him and whatever, but she hadn't bought into this idea of sort of giving her game away for a man, I guess, is what she was afraid of being labeled as, that she just kind of fell for a boy and kind of gave all her agency away for him. So
right. I can understand that, but at the same time, she's more likely to be out of the house earlier because of this decision, in my opinion, because she's losing a number. Like, you know what I mean?
I think like she either has to cut ties with Matt or go all in with him. And I think that she we saw here at the end of the episode when Matt gets evicted that her and keep forgetting her, Leah, we're like we're getting revenge for Matt. Well, like you could have just saved him outright, if he was so important to the game. And I agree with you, Jeff, that like keeping him around would have always been better. He always would have been a shield for her. Yes, they could be like nominated together. I guess that would be a threat for them, right? But I think that they in general would probably vote him out over her most of the time. Just because he's got muscles, I guess, and he's tall. I don't know. That seems to be the only thing with Matt that made him so amazing. Is he just is good? He's good looking, but so is Cam. So are a lot of these people. And he's tall. Apparently, being tall and muscles just makes people like, oh my God, you're the best athlete that's ever lived.
It's intimidating, but like how is what's Cam? How is Cam not the most intimidating person in that house?
He should be, but I think just because Matt's taller, everyone's like, oh, look at Matt.
Yeah, he's definitely like the most, like the thing with Matt, he's like a very charming kind of guy, I guess. Right? He's got the smile.
But Cam is too.
Cam does too, but he's just more charismatic, I think. I don't know. Maybe they're the same. I don't know. I don't know why Matt was more of a threat. I guess just to Angela. Maybe to everyone else he wasn't. But
well, gotta remember, Angela's the first HOH. Everyone just wants to be on her good side, so they're going to just agree with a lot of what she says, and eventually that starts to kind of you say it, you hear it repeated a few times, it just kind of becomes the narrative of the house. And so, and better Matt than me, a lot of people would say. Like I'd rather Matt and Mackenzie and be sort of on the outs than me and my allies. So if because if you had been there, Jeff, in that kitchen when Angela went at Matt, and you're a player in that game, would you have said something? Would you have like said, hey, I think you're taking this too far? Or, most people just were like kind of standing there stunned, like couldn't believe how this was playing out.
Well, yeah, nobody did. Like I think the answer is everybody didn't do anything except Kenny later. I think he kind of said something to her, but I would have, if I was Kenny, I was already on the block, I would have said more to her than he did,
Right. You saw
he didn't care if he went home. I thought,
I don't know if he cared at that point or not, if he was, but that was Saturday that big rant happened between them, right? So that's almost a week ago. Josh, what are your thoughts on everything we've told you?
It seems like it could have gone very much in the way of the pretty people and the big hulky, could dominate the season. But the fact that Angela won the first week, it kind of set the season off on a fireworks note, it seems like. And what it's kind of allowed is that everyone's kind of been able to see the kind of madness already kind of quickly instead of like, slowly getting into it, right? Because especially what I find with the early HOHs is that they make a mistake, a big mistake, and it bites them in. Like she's not going to last another 3 or 4 weeks.
It's hard to imagine, like, especially if somebody like Mackenzie wins power or
Leah, exactly.
Right.
So it just seems like, it's once again like it's just someone. It's just it's personalities clashing early, right? So it's just it's they're going to be out early.
Yeah. Jeff, what do you think? Okay, so in terms of aside from the whole mad of it all and everything else, like the rest of this cast, I just want to ask you sort of opinions on all of them. What are your thoughts? Maybe starting with Quinn. Dude looks like a lady.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I think he's going to be a player. I don't really root for him. I don't really like him. That's how I feel.
I'm finding him unlikable as well.
Yeah,
The big hair.
Yeah, big hair.
Okay.
He's a nurse recruiter. That's his occupation.
That's an interesting position.
I was like,
in
Omaha, Nebraska, of all places. I don't know. I guess they're in need of nurses. So what does he go like into a bar? Like, hey, you want to be a nurse? Like, I don't know, like what he does in order to recruit people to this, but that's apparently his occupation.
He probably goes to colleges and like, what are you studying? Well,
Yeah, he seems to be a very active social player in this game. He seems to be trying to make all kinds of alliances. He is entertaining in the diary room. Like I will say that, he's given us.
But he's a bit of a know-it-all.
He does seem like he was like brought in based on his personality,
for sure.
Yeah,
and he has.
I agree with what he says a lot of times, but I'm like, you're a little know-it-all-y.
Yeah,
and I don't like it.
I wonder if he's in Aquarius. I should look that up because that tends to be one of their traits in the zodiac, Foster, if you're familiar.
That's what Prue is. She's an Aquarius. I'm screwed.
I was advocating for her to be born a Pisces, but it doesn't always go that way. Anyway, okay, let's talk about Cam, my pick. Second overall. Beautiful smile. Everyone loves him. He's sitting pretty. No one's talking about him. He's boring, but
we'll see. Maybe later he'll do something. But he's just like gonna be like, yeah, I'm cool, calm, collected, and nothing's gonna phase him. And he's just gonna try to win competitions. He's not gonna really play the game. That's Cam.
I can't get Cam's Quinn's birthday, so I can't confirm his sign. Chemo. What did you like? What do you think about Chemo so far?
I didn't like him right off the bat. His first impression, I just did not. I don't know something. I just didn't like him. I don't know why. I had no real reason at all. But
he's kind of just like a sad, sappy guy to me. Like like he got nominated. He was like, "Woe is me!" But like they spent so much time in tonight's episode with him campaigning. I was like, Chemo. Like, what do you like? Or is the audience supposed to believe that Chemo is at risk of going here? Because I don't think he's at a high risk. And even Angela putting him up seemed to be just because he didn't have as many strong allies, but that seems to have changed. It seems like a lot of people like Chemo now, and he seems to have a lot of connections. Well, you see, he has a connection with Lisa. Maybe that's a good segue to Lisa. The Tinkerbell, as she's known, Jeff. Lisa, celebrity chef for Paris Hilton. Put glitter on everything. Got the pink streaks in her hair.
Right. Everyone hates her.
Everyone seems to hate her, except for maybe Chemo. Chemo seems to have a good relationship with her. But
Amanda says she's like something about her I don't like, and I go, I think she seems fine. And she was pointing out her outfits and was like, I guess she kind of had like the Janis Joplin look going. I'm like, whatever, like it's fine.
What's wrong with the Janis Joplin look?
I don't know. I had no problem with it.
Yeah, but that is everyone in the house almost universally dislikes Lisa. It seems like, they just see her because she apparently talks about herself too much. She's very self-involved, and she's just not quite in there. And she was very indignant about being put up on the block. She's like, I was stabbed in the face. I was like, were you? Like
that you should do though. Like that's how you should react to be put on the block. If you just take it and go, yeah, well, I understand, you're gonna get put on the block again.
Yeah, I hate when people say, I trust you. The HOH is saying I'm safe. Screw you. Like I'm expendable at our best case scenario, right? So I don't think anyone, but everyone always wants to make things copacetic because they have to leave with these people for a week. All right, so we kind of talked about Lisa. Cedric, we touched on already. Everyone seems to like him from an audience perspective and in the house. He seems to be doing pretty well. Super young. Maybe he's in Intel. What about Tucker, Jeff?
I love Tucker, man.
You're loving some Tucker?
I love Tucker. I think he's one of the best castings since maybe Zach Rance.
He hasn't won me over yet. He's I think I need to see some more for him. We didn't get a ton of him this week. I remember when Angela asks him about Lisa, he goes, "Oh no," like just so into herself. A lot of people when they had their one-on-ones with Angela were like, Lisa can go. Who cares? And he was one of them. Tucker seems to be in with a lot of the guys. He seems to be in with Cam and in particular, or maybe with Quinn and some others. Anyway, let's talk about Mackenzie. We have touched on her a lot. Now that Matt is gone, it seems like her and Leah will maybe be a pair. Where do you see Mackenzie going in this game?
Those are the two girls I picked.
Oh, those are your two picks.
Yeah, so Mackenzie and Leah are my two picks.
Oh, well, at least they're allies, Jeff.
Yeah. So I hope they can like maneuver themselves well. And I don't think they'll be targets for a while now. I think they'll lie low. I think there'll be bigger fish to fry.
Right.
But we'll see.
How about crochet master Takor?
Boring. Boring.
Yeah. Like I think she's boring TV. I think like even in the house, like people can't even seem to get a read on her. Apparently she's playing her cards close to the vest. No one even knew how she was going to vote tonight.
Julie didn't even know.
Yeah. They ended up voting out Matt, but everyone's like, I don't know, like who knows, like complete wild card into core, I think.
Yeah.
Sort of out of there. Then you got, Matt got voted out. Now, of course, I'm kind of sad Jamil's not with us tonight because he's down in San Diego at Comic-Con. And, it seems like every year, somehow Jamil's pick is the first one evicted or the first one voted off Survivor. So he would be here. Sometimes I don't even remember. Jamil just shows up angry for the podcast. I go, what's wrong? And he goes, what do you think's wrong? And then I have to remember who Jamil's drafted because I don't necessarily have it in my head. And I'm like, oh, Matt.
He drafted Matt?
He drafted Matt. He also drafted Takor, but
did Matt go high?
No, 9th.
Wow.
Yeah. He was Jamil's second pick. Leah, who's a VIP cocktail server from Pittsburgh, and now seemingly Mackenzie's greatest ally. Leah, I find entertaining. I like Leah's diary room sessions. I think she's, I liked when she was talking about, I don't really care if Matt and Mackenzie are in a showmance. Who cares? They're allies. There's 2 allies. That's great for me. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter at all. It's like they're on the show a little bit because they're smooching or whatever. It's like whatever. It's a couple of segments.
Yeah. Would you have reservations about being allied with a showmance?
I mean, if I was the only one allied with them, maybe. And that's kind of what was happening, at least this first week. But everything changes so much in Big Brother. I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Yeah, I think it's fine. And now that Matt's gone, like Leah and Mackenzie are going to stick together, you would imagine. So
we'll see. Like it'll change. Like it all depends. Like who wins HOH next. And
I'm so excited to see who the next HOH is. I hope it's Kenny, or no, even better, Lisa. I'm curious to see what she would do.
That would be great. I'd love to see someone like her win it, or like I don't know, someone like Tucker. Someone like that to win it would be great.
Yeah.
I really hope it's not like one of those collective people because I'm not a fan of any of them really. Other than I like Joseph, but
there was Quinn, Cam, Joseph. I can't remember who
Cam's not really in that alliance. The main to me the main group is Quinn, Chemo, Takor, Cedric.
Takor's in there.
Yeah, Cedric,
right,
and Cassie
and Angela
or Chelsea. Sorry, Chelsea. Those are like the main. No, Angela's not with them. Those 5 are like the main group. It seems like, right. And that's the like one side of the house
because yeah, Foster. After Angela comes down, after in the process of yelling about Matt, she goes, and to the people who came to my room last night with that performance, It was a B movie, like kind of talking about Quinn and Joseph, who were completely sincere in saying, we want to form this alliance and you're in it. And she goes, you're just trying to trick me. And so now Joseph and Quinn have been terrified to do anything with their this alliance. They think it's basically been blown up. And they're not even going to try to meet with anybody in it now, so take that for what it is. Kenny, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you like? I hard to get excited about this guy since he seems to be a quitter.
Pretty boring.
Boring.
Not great DRs. Maybe some of the worst DRs I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's just like one of these guys that, again, another recruit, not a fan of the game. You can tell,
Right.
The way they talk about the game, like, and I find myself wanting to cheer for these people because I'm like, they don't even know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because Big Brother makes you cheer for the underdog. It's just the way like the edits go. You're like obviously like a Quinn and a Chemo and like those guys, like they all know the game,
Right.
And so I'm not cheering for them because they're just gonna smoke everybody. Like that's the thing about these shows. Like it's unfair in a way. Like yes, everyone has their attributes. Like Matt is a really good athlete, but like all of them should kind of understand the game to a base level. But some of these people they do not know what is going on. They just know they're on a TV show. That's it.
But
they don't.
Would it be better if you had all recruits, or would it be better if you had all super fans who know the game inside and out?
Either or. Like one of like, but the mix like messes it up to me because then like you have all these people like a Quinn who knows the game really well, and then you have someone like Matt who doesn't know what the hell he's doing at all.
Right. But and we see what happens with Matt here. Kenny is another example, but they also don't have a lot of stake and stay in, like they those kind of people, they're like, whatever, like I didn't want to get voted out first. I wanted to win $750,000, but whatevs. But I think it would really be sad for like Joseph, for instance. He seems like he really wants to be there. Something he's always gone for. But I know. So I'm with you. Like Kenny, I know they're like, isn't this guy great? Everyone's gonna love an undercover cop, but I agree with you that he's kind of a dud as a cast. Then now we're down to the next contestant, which is Brooklyn Rivera, former Miss America. Are you like? Apparently, she's good friends with Erin Grease, Jeff from Big Brother 15. You remember her?
Really? She was a Miss America.
Yeah.
Okay, she looks so different. Like they showed her coming out of the shower, and then they show her in the DR, and her hair's up, and then she has her hair down. Like she looks different, like so drastically. I find I'm like, who is that again? And then it's Brooklyn. I'm like, don't you find that?
Yeah, like depending on what's going on with her makeup or anything like that. She was Mrs. America 2021.
Wow, really?
Mrs. America? Is that what they call it?
Miss
now?
America?
Not Miss America.
Because she's married and has kids.
So is that as like a separate pageant for married women?
Might be a separate married woman pageant.
That's
why she was so proud to be a married woman.
Mrs. America.
Yeah.
So that's gotten a lot of attention, seeing her as sort of a racist enabler, because Erin Grease famously a villain, mean girl on Big Brother 15, who said some not nice things about Helen and Candace, if you recall, Jeff. Seems like a long time ago now, but
Howie.
Yeah, all that. Brooklyn, she's still kind of a mystery to me as a player. I'm still not quite sure what to make of her. Or like she seems to be kind of in with Lisa a little bit, which is kind of weird because no one likes Lisa. So I don't know.
I feel like she's not gonna like gel with everybody, Brooklyn, but we'll see.
Well, she's got this Texas connection with Mackenzie, but anyway,
that's not a connection.
Then we got the Mustachio Man, Foster's pick, Joey Rodriguez, I like to call him.
He's great.
He's great. He seems to be in tight with Quinn. It seems like Quinn and Rodriguez have become pretty tight. He works in one of the only like 20 video stores left in North America, down in Tampa. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like,
How does that friggin' business make money? They
there's
don't.
there's people who just like love, like, it's just like vinyl, like how
No, it's not though.
it's
It's not like vinyl. That's
not
the
like
thing. Like that's why it makes no sense. It's like, Dave, it'd be like, oh yeah, I love cassettes.
some people do.
I know, but like enough to make money.
It's like a niche. If you have like a small niche, and you can run these kind of stores, I guess, like in big metropolises, if you're the only one in the Tampa area or something like that, if you just
Still,
like Sam,
there's a reason Blockbuster Video don't exist.
People still, like, there are places in the world where people still rent videos and do all that stuff. I don't know why, but they still do it.
There are people that still buy CDs. I don't understand that one either. But at
Laserdisc.
least people still have CD players in their car. At least that one I can figure out.
Some old cars still have cassettes.
Yeah, not many.
Not many, but there's a small market for it there. So anyway, not the worst pick, Foster. He seems to be doing okay so far. And then Rubina, or RB as they seem to call her. I don't know. Rubina seems like she will be entertaining at some point, but right now
I really like Rubina.
I like her, but
I like her. I don't like her gameplay. So far.
Yeah. I have Chelsea is the next one. I guess we should touch on. She was one of the mascots this week. She's super religious, which I don't love, but people have their faiths and whatever. And then Angela herself, who I think Angela, even if she gets voted out next week, I think will be remembered, at the very least. For she'll go down in Big Brother history just for that rant against Matt. I think that the crazy eyes rant, I think, is unforgettable. Great TV. You guys got to see. Like, Jamil sent me a whole clip of Angela on Dr. Phil, which apparently is Brooklyn has also been on Dr. Phil,
right?
So. And a lot of things. Angela's also been on Price is Right.
Yeah, she's been on like 5 shows. She's been on a bunch
multiple TV shows. This is not her first 15 minutes of fame.
You wouldn't know it.
You wouldn't know it. But yeah, she's from California, but she lives in Utah as a real estate agent. I don't know. Like, Angela is an interesting personality.
Of course, she's a real estate agent. Of course.
Yeah. And yeah, so overall, like, I'm digging like this vibe of this cast this year. I'm really super curious to see who the next HOH is. I can see if we have any spoilers on that, but I don't know if we're gonna get anything tonight. No, nothing's out yet. I don't think for this second week. But yeah, like my favorite, I would like to see something chaos. I would love to see like Lisa in power, even Kenny. Even though I think he's a boring player, I would like to see him like maybe try to get revenge here, or even Mackenzie or Leah to go back after Angela. Although it's kind of boring too if that ends up happening, because does Angela really have any allies at the moment? Like, I'm kind of curious to see how Angela plays as not HOH, because that's what everyone keeps talking about. She's been sort of like, there's been a lot of people who get the HOH-itis, who get like thrilled by the power of it. She might be one of the most exceptional versions of it. The other ones who come to mind are like Devin. Wasn't he like the first HOH in Big Brother 16, Jeff, before Derek took him out?
Yeah.
Devin, and then Frenchie a couple of years ago, I think, was one of the first, like, was like HOH, and then he gets voted out week 2.
It happens a lot.
It does happen,
especially when you lose your mind.
And they seem to a lot of the times, and you would have thought Angela, being like one of the older people, would be okay with being disconnected from their social media and their phones and et cetera, et cetera. But she's even more unhinged than anybody else I've ever seen. I'm here for it, as long as we can keep her. And I think that's all I have for updates, guys. But yeah, like, I don't know, pretty good start to the season. We'll be back in a week's time to talk about the second eviction and how that all plays out. And I guess we had another 80 days left in this season or so. So that's it. Any final thoughts?
No, I think we've covered it. I would just say I'm excited. Like I said, like you, I'm excited to see who the next HOH is. Angela is the star of the show, and I'm just waiting to see what happens to her because
Yeah, me too.
she's a fascinating TV character for Big Brother.
Yeah, like we'll see if it comes out here. We'll see if these powers get you. Like I guess you have to use these powers in 4 weeks. So, but my guess is that they do not get played this week, unless one of those people is in danger. Because I think it's just like those immunity idols we saw in this last season of Survivor. How many people got voted out with their idols in their pocket in this previous season? Quite a few. And I feel like people are like, I could have safety for myself, like this whole parable with Mackenzie. Do I save my ally?
Yeah.
No, because I might need to save myself. Okay, but you need allies to get to the end.
Yeah, your allies were actually worth more.
Yeah,
that's the one thing like Russell Hantz did very well. He used idols to get his allies further in the game, which helped him.
Yeah. Foster, any final thoughts from you?
No, it's still early. It's still like I'm still kind of getting into it.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us tonight. Appreciate it. Thanks to all the live viewers. Make sure to leave a comment. Also, on this same channel, we often cover Marvel products, or whether that be the MCU movies and TV shows. And I guess we got Deadpool and Wolverine coming out tonight or tomorrow. And so I think I'll be trying to get on with Davin to talk about that in the near future. However, because it's like X-Men like related, Davin may also want to talk about it on his X-rated show, the X-Men the Anime Review Show, which is part of our Federation of Podcasts. So I don't know. We haven't scheduled it yet, but if you're looking for our thoughts on that movie, we'll probably have something coming out in the near future. And all kinds of other great shows like Trivial Debates. I'm hosting a Star Trek themed Trivial Debates this Sunday morning with some notable Trek podcasters and YouTubers, including Trek Trav, Ashley Millard, and Sean from TrekCulture.com. So looking forward to that. And we'll be back in a week's time, talk about some more Big Brother. Anyway, let's go out on a quote here, guys. I don't know, something. Any requests? Any? I don't have an Angela one, but do
you have what's Julie Chen's tagline that she did with Matt at the end of the episode?
Oh,
love one another.
I have that in video form, Jeff. Let's go. Okay, we'll see you next time, everybody. Have a good one.
From outside the Big Brother house, I'm Julie Chen Boonvez. Love one another. Good night.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. Tune in to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. Artistic interviews with graphic histories. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And while you're at it, spin a few records with Eamon on Track. Watch us duke it out on Trivial Debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.